speaking, with me Tarun Nangia. Today we discuss a very interesting episode and a very interesting guest today that we have. What we're going to discuss today is about forensic science, on how India is taking leaps and bounds in terms of forensic science infrastructure, education, and the kind of trained manpower we'll have in this area, which will take us at par with developed countries of the world. Not only we will be trained in forensics on the criminal side, but in all, right from data to documentation, all of this and more in the show today. I have with me somebody who is the founding director of the Uttar Pradesh State Institute of Forensic Sciences, a serving IPS officer of the Additional Directorate General of Police rank. Let me welcome Dr. G.K. Goswami. Good to see you, Dr. Goswami, and looking forward to a very interesting discussion today.
Thank you, Mr. Tarun. It's indeed a privilege to discuss such a novel idea because, as you know, forensic science is a very important and scientifically validated tool by which justice with certification, justice with validation may be delivered to the public. And forensic science over the period of time has established its credence, and India is set to establish institute exclusively, like we have introduced this institute in year 2022. The first batch has been initiated.
First, in about 2-3 minutes, you must tell us about yourself. And I asked why, because we have interviewed police officers who are in the CBI, who handle administrative, who handle traffic, who handle special cells, who handle investigation. And you are someone who has done all of that. And then you have shifted your interest to forensics, which was a previously unexplored area by anyone. Why and how you got interested in this, and what led to the opening of the Uttar Pradesh State Institute of Forensic Science, if you can explain in 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, perfect, Mr. Tarun. In fact, it's a very interesting journey. I hail from the rural part of district Meerut. I studied there in a rural part near my village. I completed my high school, then went to Meerut for my graduation, then to JNU for my research. There I had an opportunity to be taught by the world-class DNA experts. And cutting story short, when I joined Indian Police Service and was allotted my home cadre Uttar Pradesh, my first regular posting after training was ASP Varanasi. At that point of time, it was year 1998 precisely, when I landed there was a very important case whereby one female of age about 21 was murdered. She was a foreigner and was a very, enthusiastic tourist visiting Varanasi, and somehow she was just allured by one rickshaw puller named Dharamdev Yadav, and he was actually regularly taking her from hotel to different places of Varanasi, and she got faith in her, and one fine day he asked and offered her that you may come with me to my village, I will show you the rural life in India. And she, as a very innocent girl, just to explore the rural part of India, she went along with, right? And there, afterwards, she never came back. Those days, the mobile phones and other things were not available. So I think after a few days, when she did not contacted the parents, they connected with the hotel authorities, and ultimately it was found that she is missing since last few days. And cutting story again short, that rickshaw puller was caught. Her body was recovered from the village where they have killed her and buried under the ground, and the floor was cemented where the body was buried. Ultimately, police recovered that dead body. The person was caught and lot of other evidences were collected. At that point of time, I entered to Varanasi, because I was aware of DNA forensics and I was aware about Dr. Lalji Singh, who was at that time in CCMB Hyderabad. So I requested my SSP Sri GL Meenaji that, sir, let us go for DNA fingerprinting. That time this technique was almost unknown to the local, police station and all.
This was in the year
1998.
1998.
Yeah. So we requested Dr. Lalji Singh, he belongs to Jaunpur. So he was very kind to take up this case, and ultimately, other than many evidence which were being collected already by local police, DNA also ascertained that yes, the culprit is, the dead body is of that lady. Because it was very big challenge. The dead body was unidentifiable because she was buried for few days, and until unless there is a certainty of identification of the dead body, there were a lot of challenge. And in 2014, this case was dealt, the trial court awarded a death penalty to that culprit, and ultimately it was commuted into life imprisonment by Supreme Court. And beautifully, DNA forensics has been explained in Dharamdev Yadav versus State of UP 2014 Supreme Court judgment. So whenever I read that judgment, I feel so thrilled that probably in criminal sector, this case was one of the landmark case actually conducted by UP police. So I always feel pride of UP police. This is
Mr. Goswami, you have given me a topic for my next show. I'll look up that judgment. Tell me, this vision of setting up a forensic science institute in Uttar Pradesh, which for us is like a country within a country, a state with 25 crore people, much more than the population of UK. There is lots of cases, plus there is what you can say. Investigation will move by leaps and bounds if we have trained manpower. What was your vision when you set this up? Because as far as I understand, when you take over a running institution, it is relatively easy. Setting up is the toughest part. So what was the vision? Of course, you told us about your experience in 98, but the vision, the study that you undertook, what study did you undertook, and how was this set up?
Well, Tarun, I tell you, because I got opportunity serving in various districts of Uttar Pradesh and also in CBI Adjoint Director, and also served in United Nations. So I had fair idea and exposure to different scenario, different countries, their strength, their weakness and all. I can easily compare where we stand, what our strength, what our weakness in our policing system, including the investigation and all, right? So having said that, I will tell you just few things that I did my PhD, I joined civil service, allotted IPS to my home cadre, very happy man. And then later when I was DIG, I did my LLB and I was the topper of the university. Then I did my second PhD from Tata Institute of Social Science in Law and Forensic Science. And then I did my postdoctoral in DSc in Forensic Science. So I became the first Indian to get this award, or you can say the educational degree. Having said that, I got opportunity to go to US as Fulbright Fellow. There I had traveled a lot, met a lot of people, including the forensic expert. I had visited the best laboratory, including the Houston laboratory, which is considered one of the best in the world. And I stayed there a few days, around 10 days with that CEO, who is now my friend. So having said that, when I came back to India, my honorable CM asked me that, look, Goswami, if you go to this institute which we are building, right? This was the vision of the government. And I was very happy because academic is my, hobby. It was my first and last love for my education and all. So it was like a dream and it was a challenge. And I tell you that few months, I was not even getting proper sleep because a lot of work was there. We had got admission of the students. So parents have faith in us, but lot of challenges were there to build lab, to bring faculty in place and all. But today, with all this development, I can proudly say that this institute is coming up with the best facility at par with any best laboratory in the world. The pedagogy we are introducing, I will tell you just few things about the pedagogy. We are introducing law this year, and especially BSc Forensic Science Law. So law is like our bread and butter. This forensic science.
BSc Forensic Science is a full degree after 12th.
BSc Forensic Science is 1 degree, but I am talking about this intermix of law with forensic science. So you might have heard 5-year BA LLB, BBA LLB. So we have introduced BSc Forensic Science LLB. So this is the new development, and we are giving training to the experts, budding experts, through moot court. This is the first experiment in the world. That moot court means that they will be giving exercise in the courtroom conditions, the ecosystem, so that they can withstand the test of cross-examination. Otherwise, experts generally feel very shy, sometimes the challenges of legal language and all. So this is one side. The another side, we have introduced this law. You know, the motto of our law study is law with labs. This is completely a new phrase, completely a new experiment. What does it mean? It means that the lawyers, the law experts, tomorrow they may be the defense lawyer, maybe prosecutor, maybe honorable judges of different courts. They will be trained here during their education in laboratory. They will not only know the end result of DNA, they will be knowing how the DNA get extracted, how that has been analyzed, how fingerprint are being analyzed, how voice spectroscopy is being conducted. So you just consider that forensic expert with legal understanding, the legal expert with forensic understanding. So this is the unique thing. We are producing the complete package of criminal justice system. So this is the uniqueness of this institute, and we are inviting applications, and I am sure that the future of the experts here, what we are making, or we are giving training, they will be exclusive product. Nobody can match us. This is my vision, and this we are translating into reality.
Could you tell me students that now passed out, see, because you will provide trained manpower to whole of India to start with, maybe the whole world, but to start with to the whole of India. What is your vision? Where all will your students be working in the next 8-10 years? Which all departments will we see them in government of India, in private sector? Could you just share that vision with us?
I tell you that I always say, and here also I want to repeat, that the government of India has introduced the new criminal laws, the whole setup, whether it is the procedure code, the substantive law, IPC and all, they have been changed. And section 176(3) of Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, it has completely changed the entire world of forensic science. How? Now onwards, from 1st July, when these laws get implemented, the offenses where punishment is either 7 years or more, the forensic investigation would be compulsory. The cell word has been used. That means that lot of facility, lot of resources, lot of manpower, trained manpower is required. So I do believe that next 2 decades, at least, the era is for the forensic expert. There will be huge demand for forensic expert in the laboratory. The faculties are also required in the different forensic setups in law schools. Now every law school has to start with the forensic science. Now they cannot take it to under the carpet. So I always say that like engineering, like medical science, forensic science also now onwards will have very bright future. And now we are giving them training so that they should be a complete expert in all respect. So this is our commitment.
So the students who pass out from this college will go and join the state government, the central government, the police forces, forensic science labs, and also the private sector.
Yes, even I tell you, I generally, even just about 10-15 minutes earlier coming to your show, I was, addressing my students. Normally, I keep addressing them to keep them aware. We bring almost every day some guest faculty across globe, whosoever visit, because I know a lot of people in the academia, in the professional fields and all, because I traveled a lot across globe. So many people whosoever comes to India and visit Lucknow or around, even if he's Delhi, I try to drag him and introduce to my student, and sometime online also. So my vision to the student is to give them maximum exposure. And now they are set up, they are ready to serve in different capacity, maybe in government sector, even the private sector. You will surprise that even the private sector has so much of demand. Say, for example, insurance companies, banking, so many disputes, the forensic examination of documents, signatures, many reports are being used in the disposal of the civil disputes in civil nature. So they will serve in different capacity. They may go for research, they may go for abroad. And now, right now, our course will be completed in July, but many of our students got selected. They have been already selected, going to different countries for training and all. So our future of the student is very, very bright.
I want to know one thing. You plan to attract students from out of India or only from the 30 states of India, per se?
See, we are open to the best student. Of course, the reservation policy is confined to the UP state because it is a institute from the state government, right? But otherwise, we are admitting a student based on the national level test. Say, for example, CLAT for law, the JEE for engineering side, right? Equally, the national entrance test for our forensic science courses for graduation and post-graduation. And we are only accepting the application who are qualified for JRF, right? For PhD. So the purpose is we don't want more and more number. We want the quality. We want to count brain, not the heads. So that is our motto, that we will produce less, but the best.
In terms of infrastructure, see, in India, always it is said that because India historically was never a rich country, we always used to say that we don't have the infrastructure of developed country standards. That's what we heard as we were growing up as children. Could you share that in the field of forensics, what infrastructure do we had in the UP State Institute of Forensic Science?
See, I know what you want to say. There are always challenges because we are a very large country. We have a lot of resource challenges. But let me tell you that in this institute particularly, we are getting the best of the best instruments. At present, till date, whatever instrument we have bought are the best institute in the world. And nearly 50-60% procurement has been done. Many instruments are on pipeline because they are actually being procured from across the boundaries. So it takes time to reach. But by the end of June or mid-July, the complete labs will be ready. So for the next batch, when the students will join in the first week of August, by then we will be having full-fledged laboratory, full-fledged faculties and everything. So I will request you in the month of July or August to visit sometime, and then we will have another interview, live interview for our laboratory, so that the people will see that how best this institute has been developed.
Indeed, we come to Lucknow very frequently where the High Court is there. And of course, I was happy to see the wonderful headquarters of UP Police in Lucknow. I think one of the most modern in India was UP Police's headquarters is what I saw. I want to know from you, what will be your contribution to serving police and forensic staff because mid-career training and also ongoing education is very important for today's professionals. And in fact, I have seen that many institutes are training, right, everybody from IPS officers to judges to judges at the district court level to appreciate evidence. Even to appreciate forensic evidence, there should be training because any judge also who's used to appreciating ocular evidence or the traditional method will need some training to. So, on that regard, is there anything being planned at the Uttar Pradesh State Institute of Forensic Sciences?
Yes, Tarun, you have catch the nerve of the issue. In fact, to address this issue or this problem, we have two or threefold solutions. The first is the regular trainings. And rather than giving training, we are more confined to give training for the TOT, training for the trainers. So that kind of program we have already developed. The content has been prepared meticulously by us, and very soon after the elections, because now the force has gone to election duties, so immediate after the election we will start imparting training in our institute, particularly for the trainers of our academies, our training centers, and also that you can replicate our teachings in larger scale. That is one. For IPS officers and senior ranks, we will call them in groups for 5 days training, and most of the time we will be giving them hands-on training, right? So that is another way of imparting and upgrading their knowledge. The third is the online courses. We have developed the courses for different professionals, different actors of criminal justice system, and many more, right? So those courses are online, and they will be conducted, the classes will be conducted on Saturday and Sundays evening for 2 hours, so that professionals may find time and can upgrade. And periodically, if they have some time, they will be called to our institute to get hands-on training. So not only for police officer, but for judiciary also, for prosecutors. And you will surprise, and I invite you, Tarun, that we have developed few courses which are very new, very novel. Like we have developed course for media forensics, so that media personnel should also know that what kind of evidence should be collected and how they should write their report for criminal matters and all. And suppose there is rape and reporting has to be done. If it is written that DNA should be done, what is the report of DNA? What is the fingerprint? And that scientific temper into the reporting it comes, it will definitely bring awareness among people. Likewise, we have developed environmental forensics. We have developed one another term, forensic aid, the integral part of legal aid. So phenomenal work is being carried out by the institute.
I want to know from you, there are 30 states in the country. Not all states are rich enough to have their own forensics science institute. They don't have the capabilities to set it up. Not all states have that large requirement also. Given that as a fact, are you looking at training officers, judges, professionals, lab technicians from other states at Lucknow?
Sure, that is our priority, and we want to support the system existing in the best possible manner, so that the purpose of this institute should not only be limited to Uttar Pradesh, but it should spread across. And we will be inviting not only for India, but across the globe. Like we invite the experts across the globe, we want to transfer our knowledge to any part of the world if they request us. So we basically are open to share our knowledge.
So we can look at 6-week, 8-week residential programs at Lucknow for officers across India.
Yes, why not? We are committed to that. Actually, we are building different type of courses, customized courses also. Like suppose somebody say that we want this kind of inputs to our manpower or to our professional. We will customize according to the needs. So we are completely like a company. We want to develop it in a more professional manner. We don't want to be a very traditional or mundane type of institute. It has to be modern thinking.
So, can we say that you have taken a policing and crime investigation setting, secondly, forensics, because you said that you are also into document forensics and these kind of things to the next level. We are taking criminal investigation to the next level in India, but we are also taking overall forensic, what you can say, infrastructure to the next level in India.
Yes. See, whether it is a criminal case, whether it is a civil dispute, whether it is arbitration, after all, you need to have a very robust system of evidence. Okay. Like you rightly mentioned that ocular witness, whether it is eyewitness or otherwise, they are subject to very, challenge. Like somebody may be getting hostile, somebody may have some personal vendetta and many more. So if you have a corroborative evidence which is scientifically approved, it can be retested. The best part of forensic evidence is that it can be retested. Suppose you have some doubt, you can send the sample again for different lab for testing. So these are the strength. And if you use forensic science, and I tell you that forensic science is not limited only to the courtroom. It has more wider ramifications in life.
In corporate world also?
In corporate world, in arbitration, in wherever you need any evidence, wherever you want a reasoning, where you want some logic. So logic is integral part of forensic science, right? So we want to widen the horizon of forensic science, not limited to the courtroom.
So, for the benefit of the viewers, could you share one example of how forensic can be used A in arbitration and B in any other kind of situation? So these two examples in your view, whichever example you think is fit.
Okay, I tell you one very simple example. Like my just thinking, I keep having some kind of some research or something which can simplify the life of the people. What we are planning to develop, and maybe very soon we will develop, maybe by next year or so. Like say, for example, everyone has some doubt on milk. When you go to purchase milk, you feel that it may be some artificial or some adulteration may be there. Like if you remember when we were kid and having pH value, okay, so there was very small strip and you can put in any liquid and it will bifurcate either in blue or red. So it will be either acidic or basic. So we are planning to develop that kind of chip or that kind of strip where you just put a drop of milk and it will give a particular color, otherwise it will be adulterated. So these type of simple things can change the life of the people. You mentioned about the arbitration. So there is dispute. Like say there may be some dispute either not to perform properly, or maybe that there was some contradiction. What was the arbitration contract or whatever. So you have to prove with some certain facts. And in most of the corporate disputes, whether it arbitration, whether it is any business related issues, most of the time there are disputes on the documents. There are some disputes on financial transactions. And the best part to prove or disprove a fact on those disputes is the forensic science. We can prove that whether this financial transaction was made timely, wrongly, correctly, in whatever manner. There is a signature, there may be some document, construction. So all those things can be.
You mean if documents are fabricated, that also forensic can power?
Exactly. That is the power of, otherwise it is very difficult to say whether this signature matched to X person or not. But we have the best instrument that is called VSC, which is the best in the world. And you will see surprisingly that's how beautifully it explains that yes, this signature has some forgery or some.
One thing that I want to ask you that since there is a lot of demand in the market for forensic based reports, are you also open to accepting private parties sending work for a fee so that they can maybe get a document verified, or something that if in an arbitration somebody wants a document verified, can they for a fee get it tested at Lucknow at your facility?
Well, this is our phase 2 project, but let me see how quickly we develop and strengthen our manpower, the experts, but we are open to this, and because justice needs no bound, right? Whether it is in the private sector, government sector, whatsoever. So we want to make life easy, whether in the courtroom or maybe arbitration, setup or whatever. So we are open to provide these facility, but definitely our first priority would be to ease out the pending cases in the government sector, and then definitely we will extend the services to anyone whosoever is ready to ask us for the service.
Dr. Goswami, it was a pleasure talking to you today, understanding more about the Uttar Pradesh State Institute of Forensic Science, about you personally, how you went about setting it up, their contribution to the country that this institute will do in the coming years. In the next show, would like to discuss more on specific cases, including the 1998 case that you shared with us. I think since the Supreme Court judgment, we would like to take it up. Looking forward to invite you for that show. But thank you for coming on Legally Speaking with Tarun Nange. I really appreciate that you could make time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tarun. And I finally must say that we have advertised for the admissions in different courses. So, dear parents, your children will be in very safe hand. So, may consider us, and your better future for your children will be there. I will ensure it. Thank you very much once again, Tarun, and we shall be in touch. Thank you for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.